Test match at Lord's. Welcome to the highlights, with the two teams equal as they come into this match. England having got out of the Trent Bridge Test with a most gallant draw, Graham Gooch hitting that great century in the second innings. Conditions were marvellous here for the opening day of this match. Lovely sunny moment when the two captains went out to toss. This time it's Vivian Richards and John Emburey skipping England for the first time. And Vivian Richards not absolutely certain what he wanted to do once the coin came down in his favour. Eventually, he decided the West Indies would bat, and those are the teams for this match. West Indies go in unchanged, and England have the change of Moxon for Gatting, and then Gladstone Small coming into the side with Philip de Freitas as 12th man, and John Emburey is skipper in place of Mike Gatting. We pick up the play now. In the very first over, Graham Dilley is coming in, Gordon Greenidge is taking strike, and there are no runs on the board.
Oh, what a lovely shot. Not a bad ball. It was well up and it was just swinging gently away, but Gordon Greenidge made all the distance with that front foot. Such an easy stroke.
Slightly surprising that West Indies did choose to bat first. The groundsman yesterday said that he'd had some rain which hadn't been forecast on the pitch on Thursday, and although a fierce wind had dried it out, there's obviously still a little moisture there. Surface unlikely to crack, a good even covering of grass. It's flicked away by Greenidge. Despairing effort there by Jarvis, but a second boundary for Gordon Greenidge.
He's got one or two unusual field placings this morning, as John Emburey. Very deep gully, and man just behind square as well.
Graham Dilley now to come in and bowl to Desmond Haynes.
But he hasn't got one there. And even if there had been one, he wouldn't have wanted to be a yard away from that. It was so perfectly timed. It's a great performance by the man at short leg, Martin Moxon, and boy, did Dilley deserve that.
Tremendous catch this, especially from somebody who doesn't normally field there. For his county side, Yorkshire, bat pad to his left and having to dive forward too. Superb catch and a very well-deserved wicket for Graham Dilley.
Haynes caught Moxon, bowled Dilley for 12. Greenidge is not out, 8, 21 for 1. Here's a cracking shot. Oh, well done. Beautifully bowled. It's a great catch too, but that's true reward for Graham Dilley for an excellent spell of fast bowling, where the outswinger has posed many problems for the West Indian batsmen.
Yes, fine bowling by Dilley this morning. He's had a good stiff breeze behind him, worked at good pace, a little bit of movement, and a perfect example of the outswinger. Nothing much the batsman could do about that. Perfect length, he had to play, and that's a great wicket for England, because Gordon Greenidge has made Lord's one of his favourite grounds. He's got some marvellous scores here, but he's gone there, caught Downton bowled here for 22. He's certainly gone past the bat on numerous occasions this morning, Dilley, and fully deserved these couple of wickets. Yeah, I think the greatest thing by Dilley this morning is got the ball close enough to that off stump to make the batsman play. Just occasionally at Nottingham he bought some good outswingers, but they were just that little bit wide of the off stump, so when he beat the bat, so people didn't have to play, it was just that touch wide. But this morning he's got that outswing going round about off stump just outside, and batsmen have had to play it.
Now 4 slips and a gully. And that's worked. The extra slip comes in. Embury takes the catch. Richie Richardson continues his bad trot on English pitches. And England are doing it well at 47 for 3, the West Indies.
Yes, and good captaincy by John Embury, strengthening that slip field to Richardson. He's been a bit vulnerable outside off stump, taking his fine leg away to get the 4 slips in there, and Dilly producing just the ball for it. Very low down, just carrying there to slip. Another foot deep, and his centre wouldn't have made that. So delight there for John Embury.
That's 47 for 3 now. 22 to Greenwich, 12 to Haynes, 5 to Richardson. Richards not out 6. It's been a good morning for England. Carl Hooper is the new batsman. 21 years of age and made a great impression at Trent Bridge. For 3. Hooper's off the mark. That 3, and Viv Richards is on 6.
Gladstone Small. And that's it. Small breaks through. And the movement that's been there all morning now, suddenly the edges are being taken, and it's all going England's way. So there's the end of Carl Hooper, who played such a cultured innings at Trent Bridge.
A bit of extra bounce here from Gladstone Small. Not moving away a bit, but just bouncing a little bit higher.
Now the new batsman is Gus Logie. A leave alone shot, and that could have gone anywhere.
Logie again trying there to take the bat out of the way, getting the bottom edge, and 4 runs for it, but very near that off stump.
Oh, and that's out. That's out. There's the wicket that England wanted above all. Viv Richards. A fairly loose stroke, but again, Dilly getting the bounce and the movement. And now West Indies in all sorts of trouble. Half their side gone, including the captain.
Dilly again producing that outswinger. A little bit of bounce. And again, the ball going straight to slip, but again, Downton pinching it out of Prindle's hands.
Dilly to Logie. Oh, and there's through. That's at catchable height. Wouldn't think that a ball could thread its way through there.
Well, a little bit of fortune here for the West Indies for the first time this morning. Who wants it?
Well, what should be the last ball before lunch. Dujon to face it, and Dilly bowling. Another away swinger as he's probed around that off stump all morning. And the end of a great spell for Graham Dilly. Unchanged, 13 overs, 4 for 35. He's deserved each and every wicket. And what a great start and a first session as Test captain for him. John Embury, David Gower must be wondering what would have happened had they batted first, but Embury lost the toss. The weather changed, the sun went, the clouds came, and Dilley burst into top form. And the batsman he got out, well, just look at that. Pedigree batsmen them all. Desmond Haynes was the first one. Lovely short leg catch by Marty Moxon. Then Richardson and Greenwich. And finally the biggest scalp of all, Viv Richards.
A beautiful dart shot there off the toes, and again, marvellously quick outfield. Chris Broad having no chance there, chasing that down the hill.
It's a fast outfield, but when you lay into it like that, it goes even faster. Good shot by Gus Logie.
Yes, Glaston Small just losing a little bit of control this over. That was a pretty good shot. It wasn't a full half volley, a little bit on the up. Certainly giving it the full treatment.
It's in the air, but that's safe. Now that was a false shot, aiming the ball straight down the ground, and the ball flew square on the offside, but between Gower and Lamb. Oh yes, and that's Gus Logie's 50. He's been positive about everything.
4 balls used so far. And one of those, Jarvis, is now coming on at the pavilion end. Well, there'll be shouts of bad luck around the ground, but Gus Logie's prepared to give it a dash out there. And so far he's made 59. Mark that down as a chance. That's beaten David Gower. There's a run down the hill there. Makes it awfully difficult for anyone to save a boundary once the ball gets past you.
Yes, nice stroke off the front foot. Good follow through. No need really to run once he goes past the fielder down that hill.
Just been all-out studious defence to try and get their way back into the game. 100 out of 134 in boundaries.
John Embury now coming on for his first bowl of the match. There goes another big hit, but not really getting hold of it. Embury to Dujon. And that's the 150 up for the West Indies. And they've made pretty rapid progress there. The end of 46 overs. The 150 came up after 278 deliveries, with the last 50 the quickest of the lot off 73, and I think that really shows just what their approach is. When they're in trouble, they're prepared to go for the shots. Here's a great shot, showing just all the extravagance of Geoffrey Dujon's stroke play. And that's the 100 partnership.
Well, there's never been any doubt that Dujon can play shots. It's just been this choice of when to play them that's been the problem sometime, but He's certainly thrown 2 good ones today.
Paul Jarvis loosening up from the nursery end to replace Derek Pringle. Well, giving it the full treatment, and that's another boundary. Really, they don't hold back.
It just adds to the frustration, but it's width. You see the ball's been bowled wide enough to allow a full extension of the arms and the bat.
And down it's gone, and that's the 3rd chance. Juggling effort there.
Once again, the unlucky bowlers, Jarvis driving at it hard. Gooch is right, up in the air. There it is again. No, no, oops, and down. From this angle, really got, oh, how frustrating.
Yes, it was, because Gooch had actually knocked it back up with one hand, and then the other hand inadvertently palmed it straight to the ground. Otherwise, he would have taken that at the 4th attempt. And that's the game of cricket. Jarvis to Dujon. And that's 4 runs. That's Dujon's 50. 8 fours. His runs have come out of 177 for 5. Out of a 6th wicket stand of 123. Two more to Dujon. Embry to Dujon. 7 runs already off this final over before the tea interval. Oh, and that's bowled him off the inside edge. And one thinks that the tea interval might have dealt with Geoffrey Dujon there, just determined to play with an angled bat, and in fact angled it so far forward, didn't kill the pace of the ball, and back onto the stump. So Ember is the man who's finally done what England have been seeking to do ever since lunch.
Brilliant piece of work. He's taken a couple this year that have been absolute blinders, and to deprive Gus Logie of his century by 19 runs, John Embry has just taken another one.
Yes, it certainly seems to be the place to feel against the West Indians. They all go for the square cut, and off the back foot they hit the ball in there, square on the offside, and yet again the same shot, not quite on top of it, hit pretty hard. And John Embry just managing to hang on to it, doubling up, probably the ball coming out of his hands.
And he hit that with great power. That's the first grab from Johnny Embry, and then the clutch into the body. Graham Gooch put one down, having juggled it 4 times, but that has stayed there. Most valuable wicket for England, and a nice moment for the New England captain. This time there's no juggle around for Graham Gooch, and Graham Dilley has full reward for a terrific performance here at Lord's today. Marshall the man to go. Dilley, 5 wickets in a test match innings for the 6th occasion. And England having a marvellous day here, the first day of this second Cornhill Test.
Graham Dilley's 5th wicket, and almost exactly the same as he got a couple out this morning. Pitching off stump, leaving the right-hander high up the shoulder of the bat, and Gooch making no mistake.
Gladstone Small from the pavilion end. Curtly Ambrose, the batsman. Oh, it's brilliantly caught. Marvellous catch that by Gower. Fast to his left and diving high, and Curtly Ambrose is gone. Caught Gower, bowled Small for naught. And just have a second view of that. Beautiful catch. Timing the leap to the left with great perfection. And that's the card. 199 for 9.
Small to bowl to Walsh. There's a big hit. Should be out. Lamb underneath it. And he's dropped it. 2 runs in the end. Well, wicketkeeper Downton could have got there. The bowler could have got there. But in the end, Lamb took the responsibility.
Yes, I suppose really the keeper should have kept on shouting for it when he's in that position, but it's not often you see Alan Lamb drop them when they're up there. 3-4 goes again, and down it went. But Downton could certainly have got there pretty easily, and it is usual to leave it to the keeper if he can get there.
That's bowled in. Reward there for Small, who'd seen that Skyer dropped.
Well, he did feel really it was just a matter of getting one ball in the right place, and Gladstone Small imagining to do that at the finish. Dilley's gone past the bat time after time, but Small making the ball go slightly in there and ending the innings off at 209. So a marvellous performance there by England, and a great day for John Embry as his first day as appointed captain of England there.
And a terrific performance from Graham Dilley and Gladstone Small. Dilley 5 for 55. He had his outswinger working well. He pitched it just about perfectly most of the day, just on middle and off stump and swinging away. A very good effort from him. 4 wickets to Gladstone Small and 1 to John Embury. Well, when England came out to bat, the light had faded a little. We promised plenty of sunshine here at Lord's today, but I'm afraid it didn't eventuate except at the toss. And when Gooch and Chris Broad came out, conditions weren't all that good. They moved along to 13, and it was at that point the first wicket fell. Chris Broad is the man taking strike, and Malcolm Marshall is the bowler coming in from the nursery end. Oh, must be. It's got to be one of the plummest things ever, unless he got a touch on it. First wicket down for England. Ooh, well, did it pitch in line with the stumps? That would be the big thing. Not a question of whether he got a touch on it. He didn't get near it, but it did come back a long way. After Chris Broad's dismissal, Martin Moxon came in, survived one tremendous appeal for OBW where he didn't play a shot, and it looked to be perilously close. 20 for 1 England finished at the close of play, and the bowling figures from the West Indies, they used only Malcolm Marshall and Patrick Patterson. 1 for 11 for Marshall, Patterson no wicket for 9. So it is beautifully poised at the moment. It was a tremendous day's cricket with West Indies winning the toss and batting. They got themselves into trouble, and England played wonderfully well, and West Indies fought back.